between fear and hope, between fear and hope, between fear and hope, between fear and hope, between fear and hope.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I want to, welcome to my channel. Between fear and hope. Talk about Muslim issues in the African American community, particularly is what I want to focus on, but also just in general, right? Um, People may think that focusing on just African Americans is racist, but we got different issues, and a lot of times when we, depending on what environment we live in, a lot of times the cuppas that we hear on Fridays can be targeted to um, very Daisy specific, and there's a lot of issues that our scholars and our student of knowledge don't really have time to focus on because there's so many issues, and they are busy teaching us the religion. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a scholar, so I'm not teaching a religion. I'm just talking about different issues and using Quran and Sunnah to try to raise certain questions and start a discussion about different issues. So today, my focus is going to be on, let me get a little bit more comfortable. Today, my focus is going to be on, overall, being African American and Muslim. It's kind of like being a double minority. In America, is doesn't feel like a minority often because we it's a lot of us here, and we're not the majority, but it's enough. Sometimes you get past a certain threshold where in it became it begins it begin it been it begins to get a bit more comfortable and not feel like a minority. You know what I'm saying? But we all got issues that we bring from Jahiliyyah into Islam, and sometimes those issues are only talked about when it's saying, "Oh, don't do this." You know what I'm saying? And in the previous video, I talked about dreads, dreads in the community, and I'll try to. I'm pretty new to this, so I will try to. If you find it, I will try to enact or not enact. I will try to connect it to this video so that it pop up when I mention this. But yeah. So one of the things I want to speak on is the it's black women, black Muslim, black Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you know, me and an African American man, a black man. Most of my experience, if not all of it, is dealing with black women, right? And of course, I'm not saying that black women are a monolith; they all different. But you'll find majority of black Muslims in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like we got strong numbers in the hood, and a lot of times we bring that hood stuff with us, right? A lot of that trauma carries over, and it presents in certain ways in black women across the nation. But when you become Muslim, you try to change a lot of the ignorant things that or a lot of the ignorance that you have. You try to fix, right? Um, for example, like with black men, maybe you support yourself with crime in the past, and you became a Muslim, and you give all of that up, and you try to change. It's hard, but it's something that you have to work on in order to make your income halal, so that you can support your family. The Prophet ﷺ said that if you feed your family with haram income, then you are basically fueling them with stones. You filling their belly with fuel for the stone. I mean, for the hellfire, right? So, yeah. Um, I mean, I don't think it's really no secret that black women have a reputation for using really harsh speech, right? And this becomes an issue, especially in marriage, because black men have a lot of options, and one of the and I feel like especially when it comes to Islam, our options open up. I mean, but if you look outside of Islam, you have something that's new now called the passport bros, where they go into other countries and things of that nature. That's something that black Muslim men have been doing for some time, and I don't want to speak against it, but I feel like I'm not going to speak against it, but I feel like black women need us to marry black women. Black women need black men to marry black women. We understand they struggle. A lot of times, other nationalities are not willing or don't want to marry black women. Um, it's a lot of different issues, a lot of different reasons why us as black men we need to make a stronger effort to marry black women. But part of that, part of that is we need black women to make some effort to correct a lot of the things that black men complain about, which is their harsh tone and their and the buzzwords floating around social media is masculine energy, right? A lot of times they present with a lot of masculine energy, and these are not my words. I'm just using it because I feel like it's something in the YouTube community that other people will understand, right? So, um, and we all know that harsh speech is something that can, that's not that's hated in Islam, right? Everybody deserves to be spoken with some type of dignity, right? So it's important for us to remember that Islam teaches us to treat others with kindness and respect, regardless of their race, gender, walk of life, their religion, all of these different things. So our prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, taught us that the best of you. Well, it was a hadith in Sahih Muslim that says the best of you are those who have the best manners and character. Right? I mean, it's in Sahih Bukhari. I don't know if I say Muslim or Bukhari, but despite these teachings, many African American women still use hard speech and show disrespect when it comes to, sometimes their children, sometimes their husbands, and sometimes it's looked at as us being weak for having an issue with it. Like, um, especially if it comes to the point where, it's going to lead to divorce and breaking up a family. You know what I'm saying? Because what's the alternative option? The alternative option is to stay in a verbally abusive situation and be miserable, right? And Islam came to bring us happiness and contentment and peace, right? So speaking from a strictly Islamic and Muslim perspective, we should find as part of the religion that, what I mean, like one of the du'as that one of our prophets made was to make their wives the coolness of their eyes, right? Make their wives and their kids the coolness of their eyes, which is, what I'm saying, which is delightful. It's not something that you want to be feeling like, oh, I don't even want to go home. Like, we shouldn't be feeling like that in our own homes, right? And and it seems like despite the teachings of our prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that African American women still struggle with this, um and I want to talk about some of the basic things that are obvious, but maybe this video could help a black woman, a black man, a black family out there to some options that they can explore, right? um so because this can be a difficult struggle, especially when it comes to people within our community who are supposed to be supportive and understanding, right? Our wives. Um, so what can we address? What can we do to address this issue and create a more positive and supportive environment for everyone in our community? And I think one of the solutions that I wrote down was to engage in self-reflection and be mindful of the words that we use and the way we speak to each other in general. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the things that that my little bro say is even the dog know when it's being disrespected, right? You know what I'm saying? Um, so I mean that's like the most basic. That's like the most basic thing is being self-reflective. Like if you ever in a situation where you feel like like one thing about a Muslim is and people in general is when you know when you see right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's a feeling, and that's from our religion as well. Like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained that about sin. You know what I'm saying? And being guilty about the sin when you are trying to seek sincere repentance, right? It's like if it makes you, and these are things like when you talk about the things that are in the gray area, the things that are not haram, but they're not halal, maybe they're disliked, and you don't know which way, to lean. The Prophet ﷺ said, you know it how it makes you feel. You know about how it makes you feel. It makes you feel like it's wrong, then maybe it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I know that this is going to be a bit of a sore spot, right? But to correct a lot of these issues, it's important that we as a community are able to have open and honest conversations, right, with our community and with each other, and work to create a more positive and inclusive environment, right? So, inclusive within certain guidelines. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean that we're gonna start inviting everybody in. That's gonna water down a religion. Things that are clearly things that we should not be inviting in, like a lot of mainstream. Is a big push amongst mainstream Muslims to start inviting LGBTQ into our community and opening a space for them. But we have so many other issues that we need to address that we don't really have time to sit around figuring out issues for things that are clear in a religion. You know what I'm saying? Like these are things that are very clear in a religion. So why spend so much time and resources trying to figure out issues that we already know are haram, right? um yeah, I mean eventually we do need to get to that, but right now I think there are other pressing issues, especially in the African American Muslim community, right? So um one of the reasons black women well one of the main complaints or judgment I don't want to say judgments one of the I guess I don't know how to say it right, but one of the reasons that black women are said to use harsh language or harsh speech is often attributed to like societal and cultural influences, right? Or as a people, we can be pretty harsh with each other in the hood. In the hood, I'm not saying ours. Like I said in the beginning, like black people are not a monolith, right? But when it comes to coming from certain environments, you have to be is a certain hardness that you develop because you have to be like that in the environment. It's like the Bedouins. Like when the Bedouin came to the Prophet's masjid and he urinated, Umar wanted to kill him, but the prophet said that, like basically look at his condition, you know what I'm saying? Like be compassionate, be like, what I'm saying? We gotta learn to show compassion if we want a law to show compassion to us, right? And that is like one of the basic tenets that we should be thinking about when we think about the way that we talk to each other, right? So it's not taken away from the fact that some black women feel like they use this type of speech to assert themselves and to protect their interests, right? um, they may use hard speech when they feel that they're not being heard or respected in a particular situation, but it's there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with using words instead of tone and anger and these other tools to assess the situation. You know what I mean? Are you being disrespected? Are you being respected? You can just say, I feel like I'm being disrespected right now. I feel like that was disrespectful, or you know, talk about the way that the other person is making you feel, because maybe that wasn't the intention, and maybe that person can clean up what they said to you, right? Um, if it's if the other person is being disrespectful, it's human nature to kind of reflect the energy that you receive, right? But that's not always the case. You have to be mindful of when those situations are like when to use these tones. And I think from Islamic perspective, is really never a time that we need to talk with such harsh language. You know what I'm saying? So another reason that black women may use harsh speech is due to their personal struggles, which is kind of similar to the last point. But maybe sometimes in the hood, we experience like financial or emotional stress. And this could lead to using harsh speech as a coping mechanism. You know what I'm saying? Just unleashing some of the pent up stress that you have built up, right? A third reason is that sometimes black women may feel like, sometimes they may just have a lack of emotional regulation. Um, and this may mean that the woman in particular is struggling with her emotions, and she needs to get some type of help, some type of coaching, some type of training to learn how to learn how to my bad learn how to regulate these emotions and express them in a healthy manner, right? So we'll often hear like certain terms like, oh well, this is how I was raised. But just because you was raised a particular way, it doesn't mean that you have to continue to be that way and continue to exhibit that behavior, especially if it's interfering with things like employment, which we typically don't see a problem with employment. Like, you know what I mean? Usually they get it real under control when it comes to talking to their boss and their coworkers, right? And who was it? The famous poet who who mentioned this, like the same way that you are in the world with other people when you being nice to them, you need to come home and reciprocate that energy. Don't go out and give all your good to the world and then come home and give all the bad to your household, because they deserve it even more, right? um I can't remember her name. I'm drawing a blank right now, but she is a famous conversation that she had with James Baldwin. I don't know why Gwen coming to my name. I don't think her name was Gwen. Giovanni, Nikki Giovanni, and I just said his name, Nikki Giovanni, and the name that I said before, right? Baldwin, James Baldwin, right? They have a conversation, and she talk about this, like how sometimes black women go out into the world and they can be nice to everybody else, and then they come home and they get a husband's hell, and and that's the one person that you should be regulating yourself for. Like, you know what I mean? The people in your household, they have the most rights to you, so you should be able to speak with them in the best of manners. You know what I mean? We all have, like, everybody has rights upon us, so we need to be more concerned with the rights that people have upon us than the than the rights that we have on people. I was almost messed that up. Than we have on people, because that's how we're gonna attain Jannah, right? Um, Another excuse you might hear is, "Oh, I'm just being real. This just how it is." Like, you know what I'm saying? And you can be real without being disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? You can say the truth without being disrespectful. And if it is the truth, a lot of times, if you want people to receive the truth so that they can use that information to change, then maybe you should package it in a more acceptable way. You know what I mean? Like the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, like when we giving dawah, don't be harsh in tone, as people not going to be able to take it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing more is nothing more true than Islam, right? So if the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying, be mindful of the way that you package your dawah when you're talking to non-believers, and that's as much truth. That's the most truthful thing on this planet. Then how much more so when you're talking to somebody and you saying that, oh, I'm just being real, I'm just telling the truth, I'm just being real. How much more so then should you repackage that? You know what I'm saying? It ain't more real than Islam, and you know what I'm saying. So, um, if anything, if the truth was the main factor, then you know what I'm saying. Then Islam, then the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam wouldn't have told us to um to check our tone and check our delivery when we deliver Islam, because it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? They could take it or leave it. It's on them. Um, so another thing is, oh, I'm just speaking my mind, right? And I feel like, all right, even though it's important to be able to express yourself, that's the whole point of this video. Um, it's also important to do that in a respectful manner, right? We can't just, for the sake of, being expressive and being truthful and being keeping it real, we can't be these people that just go around and you know what I mean, just emotionally abusing people. You know what I'm saying? So some of the solutions that I think are very needed in our community with black women, black Muslims, we need to provide a space where we can have education and resources on effective communication and emotional regulation, and that emphasizes the importance of speaking respectfully, right? We can just give them books and stuff like that, but it doesn't really break down. Like if you take, for instance, a very popular book, important lessons for every Muslim, right? It's like one of the staples, and especially in the black community, like those books, you can get those books free in a lot of places. I remember getting that book as a kid. It's just a small pamphlet, and it has basic, something basic breakdowns of religion. You know what I'm saying? The five pillars, seven articles of faith, etiquettes of a Muslim. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just break everything down, but it doesn't go into depth. We need spaces where we can have experts that open up spaces like that. And a popular imam from Jersey, Shadi Muhammad, actually just had a panel for his masjid that he's fundraising for right now, which is Masjid Ralda. And they did a panel where they had a Muslima who's a specialist um, in counseling and psychology talk about some of these issues. I'll try to link that as well. I don't know if I can, but I'll try to link that as well. Um, but this and all of this is like kind of part of community support. We all coming together as a collective to create a supportive environment where people can discuss their struggles and work together to find solutions that could be beneficial to not only the individual, but because this actually ultimately helps the whole community. You know what I'm saying? It leads to more emotionally stable marriages, children, more loving relationships, um, overall health. You know what I'm saying? Stress is toxic, and things of that nature. And the most key one, which I talked about before, was self-regulation. You know what I mean? Encouraging, I mean, not self-regulation, self-reflection, sorry. Encouraging this self-reflection, like maybe doing, learning exercise where they teach you how to be more self-reflective, because that's one of the most important things you can do when as an adult, when you addressing some of these traumas, right? Is self-reflection and self-awareness. This can help our women understand the impact of our words on other people and work to improve in their behavior, right? um and I think this ultimately will lead to um a lot of change in our communities, because the family and community are some of the most basic foundations of Islam, right? These are things that allow us to practice, right, our religion in the best way. If every woman is married, if every man and woman is in a marriage, then you have less zina, right? If every woman is observing hijab, then you have less zina. If every man is supporting their family, then you have um, less children ending up in the prison pipeline, right? School to prison pipeline. Less children in prison, um, less children abandoning their religion, less children resorting to crime and things of this nature. I mean, it just the list goes on and on. Family is one of the staples and the pillars of not pillars, one of the staples and the foundation of Islam, right? Um, and I mean, I think that's the basic gist that I wanted to get across. I don't want to make these videos too long, but just to reiterate everything, addressing something as simple as addressing a harsh speech used by um, people in general, Muslims in general, but for this video, black women and the Muslim community, um, it's going to require a combination of education, community support, self reflection, and accountability, and working together to create more positive and supportive environment for all of the people in our community. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times black women are the cornerstone of the community, right? They kind of hold everything together. Be it the grandmoms, be it the moms, single moms, like they hold the whole community together. So the more that we can support them and get them these resources, the better the community be off, uh, be all together. Um, so inshallah, I pray that this was beneficial. I hope it didn't come off in the wrong way. Um, I pray that Allah give us an opportunity to address these issues in a healthy manner, and may Allah bless you all. Pray that we attain Jannah. Um, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.